Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my tutorials. Today we're going to create one of the vine creatures like the owl that I posted over on Twitter. So since my computer did not record the audio for this video, I'm having to go back and re-record it. So I'm going to talk over the video and tell you what I was doing while I was making this. So here I've created a new layer and I've selected a hard round brush and made sure that it was completely opaque, which means turning your transfer all the way up. And then I started sketching out the general shape, the outline of a fox. Of course, you can pick any animal you want to, and you don't have to be very good about it, and you don't have to be very detailed, because all we need here is a silhouette to make this work. So you can be a little bit sketchy and rough with it, because in a little bit we'll fill it in and go back and clean it up. I'm straightening it up here because it was a little bit crooked. And then I made my brush slightly bigger and started filling in the little sketchy lines to create a solid silhouette. And again, you can be really rough here because we're going to go in with an eraser and clean up some of the places that we don't like in a little bit. So I've selected my eraser and I'm coming back in here and cleaning up the ears, and especially around the face where things got a little bit wild. And at the very end we're going to make the fox even more fuzzy, so you can really play with this and make it your own and make the silhouette as interesting as you can. Especially this tail. I didn't clean up the tail too much because I kind of liked the brushiness of it. So now it's starting to look a little more recognizably like a fox, and not just a bunch of scribbly lines. So here you can see that I'm clicking on this this icon down there by the layers. It looks like a lock, because I thought that was the lock layer icon, and that's not the one you want. I'll figure it out here in a second that I have clicked the wrong thing. What you want to click on this layer is the icon down there by the word lock that looks like a checkerboard. There we go. Good job, Fabe. So now that this layer is locked, I went in and picked out a textured brush, and you can just pick out anything that you like, any texture that you like, and start laying in some other colors. And I thought, well, you know, a fox is orangey, so maybe we'll throw some red in there. Maybe some different shades of brown. But not really detailing, because we want to keep it looking like a silhouette. So you don't want to start painting, because these are supposed to be really quick. And here I thought, you know, maybe it might be cool if we put in some trees. You can put in, like, you know, some scenery if you wanted to. Make it very graphic looking, but I decided against that in the end. I wanted it to match the owl. I put a little bit of highlight here on the tail because I wanted to separate it from the body just a tad. And was playing around with the colors to see if I wanted to stick with the original orangey theme, and I decided on that in the end, that would look best. And then you just kind of blend out the parts that look a little bit rough. I decided to give him some legs because I wanted to put the vines on the legs later on, like I did with the owl's feet. And again, this is just really super rough, really quick, just for fun. I bet it would also look cool if you did the outline of a tree or a leaf and then put vines in it, or an acorn or some other nature thing that wasn't an animal. Would probably look good. I gave a little bit of definition to the face here because it all kind of just melded. I did that a little bit on the owl with the wing to kind of separate it from the body a tiny bit, but not so much that you're starting to get into detailed painting. So here I've created a new layer, clicked on create clipping mask so that it is clipped to the layer beneath it. And going back to that basic hard round brush, this is where I'm going to start laying in the path of the vines. And I think here I was trying to demonstrate that if you wanted to, you could put a color underneath for the background and erase your vine pattern into your animal so that you could see the background shining through. But since I did the owl with the vines on top, I decided to do that for the video. So the first thing you want to put in is the eyes, because you want to make sure that they're in the correct place. That way you can build your vine pattern around the face to kind of complement the shape of the eyes and the nose and the mouth. I think with the owl we just did the eyes and the beak. So here I am putting in the nose. I think all in all this entire thing took me about 30 minutes, somewhere in there. And if I wanted to make this really nice, or if I were making this for a client, I would be using line stabilization, and I spend a whole lot more time on it than I am here. But this is more like a warm-up kind of thing, or a just for fun thing. And maybe if some of you guys have never used clipping masks, maybe you learned something. So here I was thinking, okay, we need to define the tail and where the leg is bent and the ears, and I wanted to give him kind of a special pattern on top of his head. Something different from the vines, but that complemented the vines. I thought, ooh, the vines coming out of the eyes are going to be so mysterious. If you do end up making one of these and you do, whether it's a fox or a different animal, I would love to see it. So tweet it at me at Faebelina on Twitter so I can see your beautiful creations. But seriously, it makes my day when you guys send me stuff that you've done from my tutorials. This kind of looks like a mustache. I didn't realize that it looked like a mustache until after I had already posted it on social media and filmed this video. But it was supposed to be like, you know, a curly jawline and up into the facial fur. Maybe he's a fancy fox. I don't know. Right there I was using the warp tool, which is really nice. If you haven't ever used it before, play with it for fixing small things, and then when you need to fix bigger things you can use the liquefy tool. That has been one of the best things I've learned in Photoshop. I wanted the markings on his legs to stand out from the vines so that they wouldn't blend in to the rest of the body, so they're kind of wrapped around his legs. And there's really no right way or wrong way to put these in. I don't know about you, but I find drawing swirls and vines very, very relaxing. When I was in school, I would doodle around my class notes with little vines and hearts and swirly things. Everything would have a swirl. One of my friends told me, like, I have a signature Faebelina swirl, and I don't see it. But apparently it's a thing that I put in a lot of my other work subconsciously. So here I was just kind of trying to break up the monotony of the swirling and make it look like his chest fur going down. But I don't know if I achieved that, but it looks cool and I liked it, so I did it. So I'm going to speed this part up here because this is just laying in the tiny leaves on the vines. Okay, so we finished the vines and it looks like I went in and added some little dots in there too. And now I've picked out the Smudge Tool and comboed that with a textured brush. And I'm selecting the layer that my fox silhouette is on. And as you can see, as I'm pulling down this color, the clipped white vine layer on top is clipping to the pulled down color. And the way that we fix that from happening is undoing these smudges and clicking on the silhouette of the fox, choosing the wand selection tool on the outside of the fox, and erasing the white on top, on the top layer. And you can't see the white being erased here, but that's what it's doing. So that when we go back to the previous layer and pull on it with a smudge tool, the stuff on top won't follow us. And we're just making it fuzzy here. Maybe giving his ears a little bit of fuzzy stuff. And the edges of his face and his legs, the tail. See, it looks so much more complicated than it actually is. Some people were telling me when I posted the owl that they would never be able to do that and it must have taken so long. And I'm like, no, it really doesn't. You got to know all these little tools and then you combo them together and it makes stuff really easy. And if you wanted, you could spend a whole lot more time on this and make it much more polished looking than what you see here. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. This is my favorite part of the whole process because you can just pull things anywhere you want to. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys had fun. Again, if you ended up doing this along with me, I would love to see it. Thank you for hanging out with me and keep arting.